Alright, so today we have the Jinling 250cc quad and the Spy Racing F3 quad. Now this will be a video where we will see which is better for the price, for the money, which is better. Now with the 250cc, it's lightweight, you can lift it up with one hand, it's compact, well, at least it fits easier in most cars, and it is much cheaper, but it does have a lot less inside than that, and well, it's just a lot less motorcycle. It's much higher than the Spy Racing quad, mainly for the fact that it's used in outdoors off-road environments, on the outskirts of the city, all those places, while the Spy Racing quad is more on road, on tracks, on everything like that. So if we pop the chair, we can see that there's a lot of stuff here. It's easy to understand, easy to comprehend. It's carbureted, unlike the Spy Racing quad. It is a manual with a clutch, with a speedometer. Well, everyone has that. It's easy to understand for most people new to motorbikes, for kids who, let's say, want to work on them, everything like that. It's low maintenance, always fun and easy to use, very fast, well, faster than you would expect it to be, and it is great at off-roading. Now, if we come over here to the Spy Racing F3 quad, we can see it's a lot lower, and it does look similar in photos and videos, but in real life they could not be more different. As you can see, there's a lot more here, a lot more bike for your buck, and very, very cool quad exhaust system, unlike the dual exhaust here. But on most 250cc's you will find that there's only one exhaust. Here there is a differential, unlike there, which is a chain, and it is not carbureted. It uses direct injection. As you can see, it's very high tech. You boom, turn it on, everything goes like that. It's pretty cool, unlike here where well, nothing much really. And with the Spy Racing quad, it is way too fast. Well, not too fast, but for beginners it's not that let's say easy to use. The wheels, the rims are very, very similar, but the tires themselves could not be more different. These are quite grippy, can be used in rain, they're good, and they're very thick. very thick. In fact, it's about the same thickness as a normal car's wheel, unlike in the front where you can see a tablet. It's very thin compared to the front, and even though the tires are still very thin, it still has difficulty fitting into most vehicles. But unlike the 250 quad, where if you, let's say, wanted to drive to some place, take it somewhere, just to have fun, ride around in fields, you can easily put it in a car and drive off. But with the Spy Racing Quad, it's practically just like any other motorcycle where you just drive with it. You don't need a car to take you there. Well, you might, and in that case, if you might, then you will need to remove a couple things, the wheels, the things, to fit it into a car. If we pop off the seat here, we can see there is a bunch of more stuff here. It's much more complex, much more overcrowded. It's run by electronics and everything like that, which is not so easy to understand. You would need to take it to someone to fix most of the time. But that also means it's pretty much very, very much actually better. In the sense of speed, in the sense of stuff like that. It's got much better suspension. Its headlights work a lot better than on this. It's got practically everything you need. The reverse switch is very different. You don't use the pedal to hit in reverse. You use this handle. And everything else is quite similar to normal quads and motorcycles, apart from the fact that they both use twist throttles and not thumb throttles, which is quite unusual for a quad. They do have similar plastic panels like this and this. They share quite a lot of things, so let's say if you need to replace something, usually if you buy something under the name of Spy Racing Quad, it would be more expensive than the Jinling, but they're practically the same. Well, they have a few differences, but some parts are very, very similar. The back end of the Jinling 250 is very, well, strong. It's very good. Also, the back end here is strong and good, but that's covered up. But that's no problem. We can just go underneath where we can see a couple of things, including a handbrake, a fifth brake, not a third brake, a fifth brake hiding underneath here, which is connected to this switch, which is practically a handbrake. But it's not as good as the handbrake we have on the Jinling, which, as you can see, you pull the brake back, you push this in, and boom, it doesn't move a centimeter. Well, maybe a couple of millimeters, but not a centimeter. It's much better having something like this rather than this. Trust me on that. It helps a lot to have something like this, but that handbrake helps too. The bumpers are different. On here, the bumper is rounded, very extruded. Meanwhile, here, it's much more compact, but it is much more square and sturdy. And from the front profile, it's very low and, well, aggressive. Let's just say that. Here, similar, but compared to that, it looks like a monster truck. And really, it is. Well, if you're going off-roading, of course. On streets, you can make these, you can get them with number plates, but they're much more rare with number plates. And they cost obviously more if they're registered. Here, practically all of these spy racing quads are registered. Each and every single one of them should be with these thingies. And now for the test for the spy racing quad. Obviously, for now, this will not start, but this will. We can wait for the pump to work, which, by the way, there is no pump here, just straight up gravity doing all of the work with these fuel lines. Now, if we start up the engine, it sounds absolutely immaculate. It sounds incredible, it's amazing, and it's got that whistle. Now, the Jinling also has a very distinct and loud sound, which is not the same, but I would say the Jinling is much louder, but less aggressive than that. It runs very well. Clutch obviously here, and to hit first gear, you do not go up in a flicking motion. You actually have to go down. Well, then you get into first gear, and to get to second gear, you go up, but not too far up. It's actually very sensitive. Second gear, and 6 gears are in here, not including the reverse, which including the reverse would be 7 gears. But to find the neutral is pretty hard, very difficult, but you can learn. It's a nice learning process. It's quite a lot of fun and quite rare. To stop the engine, you turn this knob, and if, let's say, you're transporting it somewhere, you wanna turn off the battery, you're gonna need to find underneath here, near the release for the seatbelt, a switch, which just turns the battery on and off, on and off. In the Jinling, there is no such thing. It's much more raw, much more fun, got a lot of soul. Well, maybe the fun part isn't really saying anything. Both of them are really, really fun. But here we only have 3 brakes. 2 here in the front, 1 in the back, and in the Spy Racing Quad we have 2 massive discs in the back, 1 nice little handbrake, and 2 others, also very big, in the front. Price-wise, you can find Jinglings, the 250cc ones, for quite cheap, depending on where you live. They go for up to 9,000, no, not 900 to around 1,500. Maybe some of the more higher quality ones, newer ones, less driven ones, with numbers being registered, might go up to 2,000, but that's really depending on which kind there is. And here, the Spy Racing Quad is pretty similar. Well, similar in region. In Europe, these prices are located. The Spy Racing Quad goes from 3,000 to 4,000 to 5,000, 6,000, 7. They can go pretty high, but that's not too much of the point. You can find some for 3,000 in Europe. And, well, compared to the amount of bike you get for that price, it's very good. But most of the newer ones, which this is a newer one, a 2019 version, they will probably be a much higher price, mainly for the fact that, you know, they're much more rare, much faster, much better than the Jinglings. The Jinglings you can find anywhere. Just go in any Facebook group with quads in them, and, well, you will see there'll be loads of them. Many newer variants or older variants will, instead of having these fried egg headlights, they will have just big circles, which can help you tell which one is a newer variant, or older variant. The engines on both of them originally came from China. Well, originated in China. The Jinling is fully from China, but the Spy Racing Quad has a little bit of French in its blood. It's a mix of French and Chinese. If we come over here, we can see the displacement written right here. 349 centimeters cubed. And, well, it's long enough to fit 2 people, 1 person, 2 persons on it. It has a max weight capacity of 415 kilograms. The actual whole bike weighs around 200, something there. This is obviously much lighter. With this, you'd need multiple people to help you pick it up, carry it, in case of anything. But this, you can by yourself just pick it up and take it anywhere you please. The Jinling is very good for kids, for teens. It's very fun, very cool, I would say. It can do drifts, it can do wheelies, it can do donuts, it can do anything. Well, with the right driver. And the Spy Racing Quad, well, it can do everything that the Jinling can do, but more. And, well, in the Jinling, we have this sort of bar, which you can attach a back brace here. Let's say you have a second passenger, but it is pretty dangerous. These plastic parts can be quite flimsy sometimes. In fact, very flimsy. Meanwhile here, well, this is built for multiple people to sit on it. A much more raw experience with the Jinling, and a much more incredible feeling experience with the marvel of engineering that is the Spy Racing Quad. If we go take a closer look at how everything works here, well, as you can see, everything here, everything's contained here. You obviously can see the oil here. Oil. And, well, there's a lot of space if you need, let's say, you have a bunch of stuff, you have a bunch of things you need to do. There's a lot of space for you to get in there, for you to do lots of stuff, for you to work on it. It's pretty easy, it's pretty... it doesn't require a lot of knowledge, well, maybe for some parts, but let's say the carburetor, very, very easy to learn. The air filter, the engine itself, maybe for other things like electronics, which everyone hates to do, but someone has to do it. Here we have leg holders. You put your legs here, and it's very easy to get up on here, very easy to stay on here comfortably. Obviously for tinier children, here there is only this and a gear shifter. But for anyone who is wondering, the exhaust is just immaculate. If we can see here how everything flows, how everything goes, you can see it's just an awesome exhaust. You can tell that it isn't some, Chinese thing where they slack off, they don't really do much, and, well, pretty much that's it about the ethnicity of these vehicles. This is air-cooled, the Jinling is air-cooled, but you can find some that are water-cooled, the newer versions. The Spy Racing Quad is only water-cooled, well, as far as I know, and it's pretty much a fully fledged bike. You can take it anywhere you want, you can do stuff with it that you do with other bikes, you can, everything that a bike can do, this can do. And this may need a bit more work to become more of a bike, and it's more close to something that goes off the road, maybe a dirt bike or something like that. If we can see here, the wheel here is much thinner at the front than with the Jinling, which is thicker, but that can easily be replaced. the cost of things here is pretty affordable for most people. And also here with the Jinling, practically everything's affordable. You can find the plastics on Alibaba for like 80 to 100 bucks. They're pretty easy to find. Here the plastics may be a tad bit more expensive and a tad bit harder to find, but you'll still find them on places like eBay and stuff like that. And the color is absolutely gorgeous. The candy red here is absolutely insane, and in real life it looks just that much better than in videos. Meanwhile here in the Jinling, it's more of a matte finish that can easily be burnt in the sun, but that happens to every quad with plastics on it. And well, yeah, that's pretty much most things you would need to know about them. Hopefully you found out some more about these. I know there's very little information on them on the web. Now, if we can go to size, I do have a tape measure here where